AITA for despising my mentally handicapped sister. The title makes me sound horrible, but hear me out. My sister is severely autistic. She requires attention almost 24/7 and cannot be left alone. She is nonverbal and cannot take care of herself at all. Despite the fact that she is only 12, she is extremely destructive and violent and destroys anything she gets her hands on. I hate her. That should be wrong to say, but it doesn't feel like it. I was only 6 years old when she was born, and since then I've never solely had my parents' attention. Even since I can remember, the world has revolved around her. I was moved out of my room into the basement at 7 because she needed to be in the room next to my parents. All of my toys as a child were destroyed by her, and my parents simply ignored me when I complained. Even when I was 14 and she destroyed a Mac my school gave me, I was in the wrong. Along with this, I am expected to take care of her and drop everything I do for her. I can never make plans with friend because my parents expect me to be there if they need me to take care of her. Even when I do somehow get time to myself, I am required to leave if they need me. If I do not, then I am punished. The recent example of this is when I went to see the new Spider-Man movie, and was grounded because I turned my phone off in the theater. It seems as if I am nothing more than a slave to them, and anything involving her simply overshadows me. This last week I was chosen to give a speech at a school event. I was so excited, and my parents promised to be there, but they never showed and claimed it was because of my sister. Anytime anything like this happens for me, they are too busy with her. I've held this in for so long, and it finally spilled out today. While talking about colleges with my father, he joked that I should get a degree that pays well so when they're gone I can take care of my sister. I don't know why, but this caused me to break down. I cried and screamed about how it always about her. I'm nothing more than a caretaker to them, that they always make it about her, and that I'm expected to be her slave for the rest of my life. I've locked myself in my room since then, and my parents have not come to check on me. Am I the asshole here? Edit/update kinda. Wow, thank you for all the support and love that you guys have given me. I never expected this post to reach the popularity it did. Thank you all. After thinking about it for these past hours, you are right that I don't despise my sister. It's not her fault that she was born the way she is. My parents came to talk to me a while after my breakdown, but I was unable to bring myself to talk to them and only cried and asked them to leave. They have made arrangements with my grandfather for me to stay with him for the time being, and am getting ready to go to his house. My parents want to talk to me, but we have decided it's best I leave for now to have some space and time to collect myself. We will be sitting down and talking later this week about this issue. Thank you all again for the love and support through this. Love. I'll send an update your guys' way later this week if people are interested. I'm back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, and seeing as you guys seem interested, here's my update. Well, since that day I made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week's been honestly a huge change for me, for better and for worse, but I'll try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel comfortable repeating here, but in essence my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional, and that my parents were ignoring that. Along with this, I was not supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she is a danger to herself and others. With everything else I told him, along with stuff like the movie Indecent, he was really mad and told me to not contact my parents without him there. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting with my parents beforehand, and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them. It didn't end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family checking in on me and telling me things my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been taking money from family to fund a caretaker that doesn't exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough. But, the upside is that even through all this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I've felt in a while. My grandfather spent this last week making up for the time I've lost, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night I sat down with parents to talk. It went badly to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here. But they did not apologize. My parents still claim that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even saying, "You were put here to be her caretaker." I won't lie and say I was composed. After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needed a caretaker. The money my dad was taking from his sister, and a few other things. They denied it or made excuses. And in the end, we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I'm not going back. Later today I'm going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I'm planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending my dad will instead be coming to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday, neither of them were to apologize and only ask when I was coming home. I won't be going back to them. Right now I still feel pretty uneasy about everything, but I feel like that will pass. The rest of my family is showing their support to me, and honestly, it feels great. But in the end I lost my parents. Over all of this, I've learned something that I wished I saw earlier. I don't hate my sister. In fact, I love her with all my heart. I should never have projected my hate onto her. That was wrong, and someday I hope to make up for it. But for now I need to leave. So, there's my update. Thanks again for the support my original post got. I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment or show me support. Thanks you. Edit, thank you all so much. I wish I could respond to every single one of you, but my lunch only lasts so long. I'll update tonight how the move out went, but until then, thank you all. I want to say that your support has been amazing and your kindness means more to me than anyone could ever imagine. Late edit, wow, I never imagined my story would reach the popularity it did. I know it's kinda cliché and I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you all. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. Everything I wanted to take my grandpa and uncle helped move, and it's at my grandpa's house now. I have my birth certificate, social security card, and every other document and record I could think of. My parents were quiet the whole time I was there. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister, and my mom only hovered over us silently as we moved. It took a while, but as we left she broke down and told me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her and said goodbye, and that was it. Even now I sit here and think if she really meant it. After this whole week of her not saying anything, she waited till the end. I hope she meant it. Right now though, I think I just need to look ahead. Maybe one day me and my parents can reconnect. I hope so. Thank you all for the advice and love. It's been amazing, and I'm glad that through this experience I at least got some positive out of this mess. Will I come back? I don't know. If something happens and you guys still want an update, I'll maybe come around again. But for now I'm going to move on. For all those out there who shared their stories with me, thank you, and I hope to see you on the other side. See you, Space Cowboys, smiley face. What do you think, AITA or not? leave your mark in the comments below while we listen to others' opinions. J. Cons. Asshole aficionado, 15. NTA. These are perfectly legitimate and understandable feelings. You have done nothing to sign up for taking care of another human being. It's not like she's your kid, and that was wrong of your dad to joke about, because it sounds like he probably is really thinking along those lines. Be honest with your parents about how you feel, make clear that it's insane that you're expected to be a full-time babysitter, grounded for no phone in a theater. That's fucking bullshit. SDMH 77. NTA, I am a sibling of a person with a disability. My brother was not supposed to do much due to his disability. We have been fortunate that in his 30s he is able to care for his own need with support from the local regional group. I am also a SPED teacher. I've worked in mod/severe with plenty of students who are nonverbal with low cognitive ability, doesn't matter the disability. If they cannot communicate needs or take care of themselves independently in some regard, then they need support 24/7. I had the same frustrations as you. I resorted to cutting, withholding food, and made the worst self-mixtape in head about how I deserved to be second best. I felt like a slave like you, and eventually I let it go because I love my brother and it is not his fault that he is that way and that my parents can't hang. My dad left for years at a time, so I was the second parent. I forgave him too. I was trained from the time I was 10 to care for my brother, he's about 8 years younger. Our parents have died in the past 2 years and I am in charge. The key secret I can tell you about how I am a relatively sane and successful adult is, make a plan now. I made a plan about how I wanted my life to look starting in 8th grade and I followed through. I took the SATs, got grants and scholarships, went to school far away and had jobs on and off campus. It was the Clinton era, so they gave money if you have a single family income. Get a loan, research and do it. Follow through and stay on track because you are in charge of you. If you ever want advice or to rant, you can PM me. I also advise counseling. I really hurt myself and took on lots of guilt. You don't need that. Someone should say, none of this is your fault. I can be that person because it is the truth. I'm here if needed. Dizzy glowing star sparkles. Deleted user. I have dealt with an autistic kid that was in the same state as the sister, that was raised as if the house was his playground with no understanding of the word no, that physical aggression was not okay, etc. So my text was based on my own experiences and observations. Further, my grandmother is a specialist on the subject of autism and has worked with autistic and handicapped kids ranging from very light to absolutely menacing for the past 40 or so years. For example, I have a gold lighter. The kid was not allowed to play with it for obvious reasons. He grabbed it, put it in his mouth and caused a scratch. Now personally I don't care for the scratch, but if he swallowed it, it would have been hard to get out short of puncturing below the lighter to keep him from suffocating until paramedics arrived. The second time he was more hesitant to grab it but still did. I gently took it from his hand, told him no. The third time he looked 200 times at me and the lighter before he grabbed it. Same deal, gently grabbed it out of his hand and said no. This is the discipline part 1 was talking about. This also proves in this specific instance the boy did understand what it is he was doing was wrong. It just took a lot longer before he reached the fuck it moment. From what I have gathered is that it is very important for autistic people to have a set-in-stone routine and be notified of any changes well in advance, or it might cause a huge meltdown. It is upon the parent to adapt to this and set a healthy regimen and keep to it. This is the routine. It is the responsibility of the parents to understand the needs of their children. This is my pool of information from where I wrote the comment, and for what it is worth, I am not autistic. It never is as cut and dry as I wrote it in the initial post and in this one, as each individual differs and requires tailored treatment. I hope you will reread my comment and understand the undertone in it that I am solemnly blaming the parents and not the autistic sister. Did you seriously just? This legitimately terrifies me. I'm so worried I'll have a kid like this and it'll ruin my life. I know that probably seems offensive, but I just don't think I could cope with what you've described. Your sister is still young and hopefully when she's older she'll calm down or your parents can find resources to help deal with her behavior. I'm so sorry you've had to go through that, OP, that's a really challenging childhood. I can't even imagine how strong of a person you must be for going through that. Person behind a screen. You are totally right to feel that way. I'm 22, my mom and dad are 55 and 61 respectively. When you look at the whole timeline of my life and into the future, it won't be long until I will be my autistic brother's caretaker. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to go on vacations in retirement. I wanted to truly be able to retire, but my retirement will be the day I have to end up taking care of him. Many professions wouldn't be able to accommodate me in a full-time schedule where I'm a caretaker. I'll be 35 by the time I'm a full-fledged doc. My parents will be 68 and 74 by then. I won't get much time to pay off my loans, buy a nice house to pay off, even work a lifetime's worth of a career, get to save up a lifetime's worth of savings. I don't resent my brother, but I resent the life I will have in the future. Gregor. Esh. I know I'm in the minority here, so hear me out. First of all, let me say that I'm the father of a nonverbal autistic girl that, as of yet, cannot take care of herself. While mine is only 6 yet, we are facing the same situation your parents are. Now, first of all, your parents are assholes because of the way they've expected you to be a caretaker for your sister. That is absolutely not fair to you. While, obviously, she will require more care and attention her entire life, it is equally your parents' job to ensure you're well cared for, and that they have a plan for your sister once they're gone, and that plan is not let the sibling care for her. Now, and here's where my opinion seems to deviate from the crowd here, you're the asshole for blaming this situation on your sister. She was born this way, and trust me, your parents would have turned the dial from severe autism to normal if such a dial had existed. They're scared, they're dealing, or not dealing, with something they don't understand, and they are inappropriately leaning on you for help. Your sister isn't, your parents are. Learn to understand your sister, or at least come to accept that she can't be understood, and while you will likely never be friends, or possibly even close, you may just come to forgive her for your parents' bad behavior. Procyon. Yeah, I feel really bad for OP, it broke my heart when he talked about how all his toys got wrecked and no one cared. Another angle that I'm not seeing being discussed, OP's sister is being robbed too. If the parents were told she needs a caretaker, then she needs a caretaker. Maybe she would be able to make some improvements if she was working with a professional. I get that she's low functioning, but it's possible that she can sense the animosity OP was beginning to feel toward her, which is not his fault. Which could cause her to lash out more. I have a severely autistic cousin, he is verbal and doesn't need 24/7 supervision though, and he has a loving family who is always there for him. I wonder how lost he would be without that support system. OP's parents obviously don't care about their autistic daughter, if they did they wouldn't push her off on a teenage brother who obviously isn't capable of handling that responsibility, or use her to scam their family. I just hope she will be okay. What are the parents going to do with her now that their free babysitter and money are gone? Are they going to pay for a professional caretaker themselves, or just neglect her? OP, if you see this, this is not a guilt trip, but someone in your family should keep tabs on what's going on with your sister. It sounds like she may be better off in an institution than with parents who obviously can't or aren't willing to give her the care she needs. Rhino D. There was a heartbreaking story on NPR yesterday about a family with a low-functioning autistic son. Unlike OP's parents, they truly loved and cared about their son, and because of that they resisted putting him into a care facility. They didn't want to abandon him. They didn't want to feel like they were bad parents. Their son hit and bit and broke everything. For his own safety, and theirs, they had to remove everything except a mattress from his room. For 13 years, his mother did not have a night of unbroken sleep. In the interview, the father described his feelings when they left their son at the facility. That his son probably couldn't understand how hurt they were, how much he hurt them, and how sorry they were. He only knew that the only people in the world that he ever truly knew were leaving him, alone, in a strange place. He also describes the first home visit after that. How their son walked into a house that had changed so much while he was gone, but he didn't melt down. He was calm and happy. The care facility gives him appropriate activities throughout the day so he's never bored. They take care of him. As his father drove him back to the facility, he played a kind of game, where he says, the letter D. And his father responds, and D is for dump truck. And then he said, and D is for daddy. Cactus. Certified proctologist, 29. This update is a needed one. My heart broke reading your original post. While things aren't on great terms with your immediate family, it truly warms my heart to see that your extended family is going through great lengths to make up for lost time. While your road ahead may be dark and bumpy, know you have a lot of love surrounding you, here, and with your extended family. We are all rooting for you. Go, enjoy your freedoms, and be loved. Intothwillows. I understand your predicament, for I also come from a similar situation. My older brother has autism spectrum disorder, and is on the low end of the scale. My parents, since I was about 7 years old, always stressed that I needed to take care of him and allow him to live with me once I was older despite the 4-year age difference, alongside his physically and sexually abusive tendencies towards me, and only me, out of our family of 5. Now, I am 20 years old. Since I was 18, my parents have expected me to pay for items he desires, read for him, clean for him, pretty much anything you could think of, despite me being a college student with many, many chronic illnesses that was being abused by him since I was 11. Despite everything he has done, I do not hate him or his disability, rather, I hate that my parents have enforced that his abusive behavior was not morally incorrect, thus insisting to him that I was wrong and hated him for his disability. No matter how much I expressed to him that his behavior was wrong and that I did not resent his disability, as I am severely disabled myself, he never listened or corrected his behavior until I began to distance myself from him at all available chances at 19 years old. He is my brother and he needs help, but I cannot be the one to give it to him because I deserve better than the life I was provided by our parents and him. I plan on moving out very, very soon. I hope things get better for you soon, and that you are able to reconcile with your sister as you desire without parental interference. Good luck, OP. Hot_tropique. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with all of this, but I'm so glad your grandpa and extended family sound like such awesome people. Give your grandpa extra hugs as often as you can. Also, you're 100% right to cut contact with your parents. They did wrong by you. NTA, never were the asshole. Your parents are major assholes, though. Unshapen Conk 51. I'm glad that you have come to better understand your relationship with your sister, that you have realized you care.
recruit while you can.